People pleasing is a shadow part of ourselves that is trying to gain the approval of other people because we believe deep down that we don't have value for being us. So it's like the more I do for others, the more I help, the more I give, the more I feel worthy. And so I was this people pleaser, and I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I didn't have the awareness. I thought I was just being a good bitch. I was just being good to other people. And then I learned about people-pleasing behavior, realized that's what I was doing. I learned where people-pleasing stems from. And I also learned the negative effects of being a people-pleaser. So I decided that I wanted to have this shift and this transformation. I no longer, wanted to be a people-pleaser or wanted it to be a part of my identity. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 6 things that I did to overcome people-pleasing, to shed it from my identity. And honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever done for myself. So firstly, I'm going to talk a little bit more about people-pleasing so we can have a better understanding. So people-pleasing generally, it stems from parent-pleasing. So we may be little kids and we may have critical parents. We may have parents where we had to, it was conditional love. We had to do certain things in order to get love and approval from our parents. And then we grow up and then we start people-pleasing with our other relationships, the other people in our life. It can also stem from an abandonment wound. That's where my people-pleasing stems from, is parent-pleasing and my abandonment wound. So I was physically and emotionally abandoned by my dad, and I was emotionally abandoned by my mum. And I realized I had a lot of abandonment wounds because abandonment wounds can come in so many different forms. And so that's where people-pleasing stems from for me, is my abandonment wound. It can also be the survival strategy that we start doing as children. It's like something happened in childhood. It may have been trauma, it may have been abuse, it may have been neglect. Something's happened where we didn't feel safe. And so we start people-pleasing because it's like, if everyone around me is good, if everyone around me is happy, then I'm safe. So it's a survival strategy, right? And so as a kid growing up, I didn't really feel safe a lot of the times because I was being bullied on a regular basis by my older brother. I didn't have a parent there to stop it, so I basically just had to put up with the bullying. And also when I was with my dad, which was not very often, my dad was basically like a stranger because he lived in a different country from when I was really young till I was 12. So he was kind of like a stranger to me, but also he was an angry and abusive person. I just got noise from my neighbor. Okay, I'm going to pause this video. All right, so I'm back and I'm going to try and get through this video before my neighbor starts making more noise. So what I was saying is basically, like, my dad was this angry and abusive man. He abuses drugs and alcohol, and that's because he has really bad childhood trauma and wounds. Like, he had a really bad childhood. And so as a little kid growing up, it was like he's a stranger that's angry and abusive, so I never felt safe around him. I didn't feel like I could trust him. So I believe, for me, all these things have played a part in me becoming this people pleaser. Now we can develop this inner conflict, and that's because people pleasers aren't being true and authentic. And it's like the more we please others, the more we lose touch with our true nature. People pleasing can also be a form of manipulation. And you may be wondering, what? Why? How's that a manipulation? Well, it's because when you people please, you do it with wanting something in return. It's like there's this hidden agenda. It's like, if I'm nice to you and I give things to you and I say what you want to hear and I do what you want to do, then you must love me back and you must do for me in return. It's a control strategy. And now that I'm aware of people-pleasing behavior, I can actually pick up on it in other people. And I've felt that manipulation, like being on the other end of it. Like, I can sense that when someone's like constantly like, hey, like trying to help you out. Do you need this? Do you need that? Like they're always offering to help in some type of way. And I just keep saying no, I keep rejecting it, like, no, I'm all good, no, I'm all good. But at the same time, I can sense that they're offering it because if I say yes to them and say, yeah, help me out, I can tell that they're going to want something back. They're going to want something in return. So it's interesting that I can now notice this on the other side of it. And so people sense this off you if you're a people pleaser. They sense your energy. They sense how, like, people feel how you feel about you. People feel if you are being a people pleaser. And what ends up happening is, one, people don't really respect you if you're a people pleaser, unfortunately. They just don't respect that. They respect you more if you're able to say no instead of saying yes all the time. And people start working out like, oh, this person's a people pleaser. They always say yes. They don't have boundaries. So then they just start taking advantage of you because you always say yes. You never say no. You know what I mean? And so people start taking advantage. For me, it was like I started feeling like I was being underappreciated, taken for granted. And I started developing this resentment towards people. Because again, if people know you're a people pleaser and you don't have boundaries, they just end up using you and they don't respect you. So this is why we want to shed it from our identity. When we work on ourselves, when we work on our energy and we shed these things, what ends up happening is because you've had a transformation. Like, for example, I had the transformation from being a people pleaser to no longer being a people pleaser. When you have this transformation, your energy shifts. The energy you're embodying, it shifts. Because that shifts, the reality you're in shifts. And so when you are that people pleaser and you're embodying that type of energy, like I just said, people don't respect it. But then when you shift and you shed that from your identity and you're now someone new that no longer people pleases, people treat you differently because of it. They treat you with more respect. And I know this because it's happened in my own life. So I'm going to share with you the 6 things that I did. The first thing is to stop abandoning yourself. People pleasers, we abandon ourselves to please others. And this is why it could be linked to that abandonment wound. You already have this abandonment wound and then we're abandoning ourselves to please other people. So that's why the first thing to do is to stop abandoning yourself. It's like, for example, let's say you had plans to go out and weed your garden, right? You get up in the morning, you've got plans to go do that, and then you've got a friend that's contacting you like, come over and have a drink. And you're like, no, I don't want to. I've got my gardens to do. Oh, come on, man, just come have a drink. It'll be fun. Just come. And then you're like, oh, okay, because you don't want to say no. You don't want to let that person down. So you people please and you abandon yourself. You just abandoned you doing your gardens because you allowed that person to talk you in to go drink with them. So we have to stop abandoning ourselves. And one way we can do this is ask yourself, like let's say someone's like, hey, you want to come over and have a drink? Or you want to come over and do this when you already had other plans? Ask yourself these 3 questions. What do I want? What do I need? And what do I feel? What do I want, need, and feel? Do I want to go over? Do I feel like going over? Actually, no, I don't. I actually don't feel like going. You know what I mean? Stop abandoning yourself. Put yourself first. And don't think of that as being selfish, because it's not. Putting yourself first is not being selfish. At the end of the day, we're all here to have our own life experience. We're here on our own journey. We shouldn't be abandoning our journey for other people's journey. There's this saying I really like as well, which is, be the star of your own movie instead of a cameo in someone else's. Be the star of your own movie. Stop abandoning yourself. Number 2, work on your self-love and your self-worth. As a kid growing up, I didn't have any self-love. I had an older brother that would run me down with words, and this is from a very young age, like before I was even at primary school. So by the time I got to primary school, I had no self-worth, I had no self-love, I had low self-esteem, I had no confidence, I was afraid of the world because of the way my own family was treating me. So I had to work on the self-love and the self-worth for myself. I went from someone, that had no self-worth to now I feel worthy. The point I'm making is that we can work on these things. We can improve them. You might feel like you've got no self-worth or no self-love, and you may think like, I can't change that. Like, you can. Set the intention that, right, I'm going to work on my self-love, I'm going to work on my self-worth, and just start working at it. Over time, it'll get better and better and better. Like, now I feel really worthy for being me. I have love for myself. You can improve these things. Number 3, this is really powerful too, by the way. Become your own source of love, validation, and approval. My neighbour's just started up again. I'm just going to pause it here. So number 3 was become your own source of love, validation, and approval. So being a people pleaser, we please others so that they give us the love, validation, and approval that we are seeking, that we didn't receive when we were kids. The most powerful thing you can do for yourself is be that source for yourself. Be your own source of love, validation, and approval. When you become your own source for that, you don't need it from others. You don't seek it from others. And this is a game changer. This really shifts your energy. When you start giving yourself the love, validation, and approval, you don't need it from others. And again, people feel that off you because people feel your energy. So people feel that you're not looking for love, validation, and approval of them. It's a really powerful place to be when you're able to be that source for yourself. Number 4 is ground your energy in your body. The reason I say this is I learnt that as kids, when we experience trauma, it can cause us to escape from the bottom 3 chakras, and it can cause us to be up in the third eye chakra. And so we're in the third eye chakra and we're tuning in to everyone around us. Because like I said before about, with people pleasing, the survival strategy, where you're tuning in with everyone else. If everyone else is good, then I'm safe, right? So what we want to do is we want to get the energy out of the head and ground it back in the body. When you ground your energy back in the body, you feel safe in the body. And when you feel safe and grounded in the body, you're putting off a different type of energy. And this type of energy you put off is magnetic. It draws people in. So the way you do this, I use this candle meditation every morning. I do it before I get out of bed. So you just light a candle, you stare at the candle flame, and as you breathe in, you put the awareness in your hands and your feet and your core. Just put the awareness in the body and feel the separation between you and the candle. And then when you breathe out, you simply relax. And then when you breathe back in, you put the awareness in the body again, and the hands and the feet, and feel that separation between you and the candle, and then just breathe out and relax. And what that's doing is it's getting your energy out of the head and it's grounding it in the body. And I do that every morning for about 5 to 10 minutes before I get out of bed. And they've done this experiment on stage where they've had someone standing on stage, they have the audience of people, they tell the people in the audience, right, project your energy at me. So everyone projects the energy at the person on stage and they feel it and it makes them want to go back. And it's almost like when you have that needy energy towards someone, it makes a person want to back up, like you're too strong. And then the person on stage told everyone in the audience to pull the energy back in your body. So everyone did. And it made the person on stage feel drawn in because there's this like magnetic pull. So ground the energy back into your body so you feel safe in your body. And again, that's going to shift your energy. Number 5 is set boundaries. Start setting boundaries with people. As a people pleaser, we find it difficult to set boundaries. And this is something I'm still working on with myself actually. I'm getting better at it, but I can tell I still need some work with it. But yeah, people pleasers don't set boundaries. They don't know how to say no. So we have to start learning to say no and to set boundaries with others. And also healing the abandonment wound. If you have an abandonment wound, you may have one and not even actually realize it. But healing the abandonment wound was also a game changer that really helped with shedding people pleasing. And I think the combination of the two is really powerful. At the end of this video, I'm going to link another video on the abandonment wound that you can watch, and you'll be able to learn if you have an abandonment wound yourself, and if you do, the best thing you can do for yourself is to heal that wound. Again, when you heal these wounds, your energy has this transformation, and because your energy shifts, your reality shifts. So again, number 5, start setting boundaries. You may have to practice at it. It may be difficult at first because you're not used to it. And also, the people around you won't be used to you having boundaries either. They'll be like, whoa, what's going on here? Because it's something new and different. And number 6, the last one, is have an identity shift. We have to have an identity shift. So our identity is flexible. Like a contortionist, it can shape it and mold it in whatever way you want, whenever you want. So if you're a people pleaser like me, that used to be a part of my identity, right? And then it's like, oh, I don't want to be this people pleaser anymore. I just feel taken advantage of. So now I'm having this identity shift into someone else that no longer people pleases. Part of this identity shift is I'm now a person who says no. Part of the identity shift is I am now someone that sets boundaries. I am now someone that gives myself love, validation, and approval. So identity shift. Shift that identity, transform into someone new. When you do this, your energy is going to shift. And once I healed my abandonment wound and shedded people pleasing, I'm not going to lie, I am now more popular than I've ever been. And it's because with healing my abandonment wound, I had to learn to not need people or get over the fear of being alone or the fear of being abandoned, which I did. And because that fear's not there, like I don't feel like I need people. I'm good on my own. And now it's just like I'm just the most popular I've ever been. Like people are always messaging me. Half the people messaging me, I don't actually, how do I say it to be nice? I don't really want to associate with those people because I'm very picky with who I have around me now. So half the people messaging me, I don't really have the time of day for. The other ones that message me are people I do like and want to be friends with, but at the same time, I'm quite a busy person. I don't have much room for a social life at the moment because I'm focusing on building a YouTube channel. But honestly, man, healing that wound, shedding people pleasing, having this transformation, I'm popular, man. I've got people always messaging me and I'm just like, this is crazy. But it's because my energy's shifted. People feel it. People feel when you've energetically pulled back and you don't need them anymore. So that's how you heal your people pleasing. That's how you shed it from your identity. Hope you like this video. If you got some sort of value, let me know by smashing that like button or write a comment. And if you like this sort of content, then subscribe and hit that bell notification. I'm going to leave the abandonment wound video here for you to check out. I highly recommend watching it because I think abandonment wounds are quite common. Have an awesome day. Peace.